let's talk about The Golden Bachelor. So I think this show is phenomenal. The Golden Bachelor features Gary, who is 70 years old, who is the Golden Bachelor. He's hot as hell, Gary Turner. Okay. 22 women are trying to vie for Gary's love. And it is so good. Now, at first, Schman had no interest in like watching this. And then we watched the first 5 minutes and he was absolutely hooked. I think it's amazing. Now it's getting mixed reviews. What show doesn't at this point? But what I find so amazing about this, and also kind of sad. Have you watched it? I feel like it is a little sad. Gary meets these 22 women. Some are widowed. Some have been divorced a couple of times. Gary Turner, the Bachelor, is going to like shock your drawers off. All right. And nothing against Gary. He has beautiful kids. But they show Gary's like wife. And you're like, oh, all right. Well, she's just like a normal woman, an average looking woman. But Gary's like a hot piece, for 70. So you're thinking like Gary's going to be with this like beautiful woman. And I'm thinking Gary's been married or divorced a couple of times. Oh, hell no. Gary's wife is not who you would expect to be with Gary. May she rest in peace. They were married for like 40 something years. And Gary was like madly in love with her. This should give us all women hope, right? No matter what shape, size, no matter if God gave you a bigger nose or a little nose. And like I said, she is pretty, but she's just not like what you would have anticipated him being with. I'm like, they cast this show so genius because you're expecting Gary to be this kind of player that like was married a couple of times. No, married once to a woman that we could all be that woman. And like, I mean, unbelievable. So she dies from a bacterial infection, sadly, after like 40 something years of marriage. Like she went in, the infection had gone through her body. It started shutting down her organs. There was nothing she could do. She was dead within like 24 hours and she died like 5 or 6 years ago. So here's Gary, like looking for love, sentimental, sweet. The 22 women come in. These women are so fucking badass. First of all, some of them are stunning. Okay. They're like beautiful. Edith is like my favorite. She's gorgeous. She's Hispanic. She comes in, she starts speaking Spanish. Oh my God. It is so good. Half of them have seen the show. Half of them have no clue what happens on the show. One rides in on a motorcycle who Gary's like in love with. But isn't it like, okay, so you're excited that they're going to find love at 70, 65. The women are all different ages. They seem interesting. They've lived lives. Everybody's like, thank God. I'm so happy that The Bachelor is featuring women that their occupation is an influencer and fucking dog walker. It's like, yes, they have depth. But isn't there a side of this show that's sad? They show the previews like coming up, and it's like Gary crying. Even Gary cries the first night sending these women away because I think Gary like knows like how hard it is older in life to meet somebody. And then I love watching this with Schman because Schman and I sit there and we're like, oh my God, what if this were us? Like, it's kind of depressing. Like if you get divorced and you've got to date again when you're 60. And I know a lot of you guys are listening to this. Your parents are like looking for love in their 60s and 70s. And it's so like kind of sad. Like all these things have happened to these people. Their spouses have died. They got divorced. They found out they were cheated on. I'm like, oh, fuck, Schman, is this our future? I go, Schman, your ass better live. We better both live until we're 77. All right. I do not leave me before that. I do not want to be out on this goddamn show trying to come up with something, play a guitar for some guy or sing. I can't. Like, what can I do? A stand-up comedy thing and roast him? I have a terrible joke about Anne Frank I could whip out. Like, that's the only thing. Like, what am I going to do? But it's more inspiring than sad, although the previews are like a little, these women, and I know a lot of it is like the producers want the women to be like, oh my God, Gary, please pick me. But it's like a little like this is like their last chance at love. And in some ways you're like, yeah, they're in their 60s. This kind of is. This show is so good. The women have depth. They have interest. They have real bodies. Now, a lot of them have had plastic surgery for sure. April on The Golden Bachelor. I mean, she's a trip. She was the one in the brown dress that came in. She got like hot boobs. Susan is the one on The Golden Bachelor. She looks like she's from New Jersey and like been a smoker forever. She looks like Liza Minnelli. I mean, it airs Thursdays, by the way, on 8 p.m. I think Schman and I might have to give recaps. It is so good. Gary, I did not. Gary's like a down to earth guy. I kind of expected Gary to be like Joe Millionaire, but he's not. It's so well cast. I cannot wait to see like what happens. And they make out on the first episode, and it's so good because at first you think, oh, do I want to watch 70-year-olds make out? But then I guess as a 41-year-old woman, I see myself. I'm like, yeah, I still want to be getting it down at the villages in Florida. And don't you think, like, you think when you're 70 something and your spouse has died that you're like going to give up on love, but no, people are still ready to bone. So there you go. And then, oh God, is anybody watching? It's so good. All right, Dame. I have Dame and Little Spoon. Littlespoon.com/TSFS. Enter the code. Little Spoon is a company that delivers fresh food and meals to your house for your babies all the way up to your toddlers and your little kids. Lunchers and snacks. Little Spoon is bringing back all the nostalgia and none of the junk for this new generation of big kids. You can count on meals, baby blends, biteables, plates, and lunchers. Lunchers, think old school favorites with a new school standard. Their brand new lunchers meals are healthier and it's build yourself. The thing I love about Little Spoon, they deliver right to your door. Healthy, you know every ingredient that goes into these meals. You can pop them in the microwave if you're running slow on time, or I like to take them out of the plastic containers and cook them in cast iron. I'm just that type of gal. They save you so much time. Once you also figure out favorites that your kids love, you can just order those. Like I order the smoothies over and over because I know that's what KJ is going to want. Did I mention it all comes right to your door? So flexible and easy. Everything stores right in the fridge and freezer. I can pick the menu, change up what I want to order every single time, and the price is right. Quality is unmatched. I love it for KJ. It's great for the grandparents too to give as a gift, and a huge win-win. Make this year's chaos a little more manageable with time-saving, delicious, and healthy meals and snacks your kids will love. Go to littlespoon.com/TSFS and enter my promo code TSFS at checkout to get 30% off your first Little Spoon order. That's little, LITTLESPOON.com/TSFS. Enter my code TSFS to get 30% off at checkout. Dame products. Yes, baby. Dame has hot vibrators that are waiting for you. Now, dameproducts.com, you enter the code TSFS at checkout and you get 15% off. They are known for the pleasure of play for both people involved. They have a bestseller, Ava. It's a couples vibrator, a wearable couples vibe for hands-free fun. Their air stimulates air pulse to help you get there faster. And they come in amazing colors, by the way. That's what I love. They almost look like amazing bookshelf tchotchkes. They're just so gorgeous. They're artfully done. You can order them in periwinkle, or they have papaya for different colors. So good. They even have a chart on their website for quietness and intensity. The battery life is awesome. I own several. They've sent me several. They're amazing. And they have hundreds and thousands of reviews. So I always tell people, if you don't take my word for it, go and do your own research, because you should always do your own research on everything. Not that we all have all that much time, but anyway, Air has over 785 reviews and it's almost at 5 stars. Dameproducts.com. Use code TSFS at checkout to get 15% off. The other show that I'm watching, I think this comes as no shock because I love nude shows. I've had nudists on my show. I've had porn stars on my show. I've had a woman that had a threesome with the Holy Ghost. I am watching Naked Attraction on HBO. Are you guys watching this British show? It's been out for a couple of weeks now. People are still loving it. It's getting a ton of controversy. People either think it's like great for body positivity or like you're super judgmental. I think it falls somewhere in the middle because you're literally judging people on their dicks and like how much hair they have in their butthole. But it's like, it's so good. The premise of the show is this. You do not see the people's face. You start by seeing their genitals. So like take, for example, if I were on the show, okay? And their host, I don't even know the woman. She's good. But of course she comes out every time and she's like, I'm bisexual. Like, it's like, all right, bitch, we know. Like they could never have like a straight person on this show because, you know, you have to like be bi or you have to identify as this or whatever. Not that I care. All right. It does like, it's kind of stupid that they have to announce like every other show that she's bisexual, but for some reason that's important as the host. So they have a woman, like, let's take myself, right? And they have like 6 candidates. Okay. And all they do, they stand in this, you know, little like, you know, almost revealing compartment, and they bring up the screen to show their junk. Okay. And then we are faced there. Like if I'm a straight woman, it's 6 guys and all we see is their dicks. Okay. And we have to decide, we have to eliminate someone based on their dick, the size. And honey, the amount of men uncircumcised, I love it. They got a jacket on that thing. I mean, my God, big jackets. I mean, my Lord, the amount of cleaning you must have to do. It's been a second since I was with a guy that was uncircumcised. I don't know why. I'm just not an uncircumcised. I mean, what would I do? I guess I met the love of my life. Well, I have met the love of my life. If I met another love of my life, like Gary Turner on The Golden Bachelor, and he had like, a jacket on his dick, I guess I would work with it. It's not really that big a deal once things are erect. But these babies, I mean, and they look at everything. The women go, let me see. The balls are a little tiny. They go into all the detail. Does he have too much pubic hair? Does he not have enough? Then they turn around, they look at the ass crack, they look at the butt. Is the butt jiggly enough? Is it not jiggly enough? Is it bubbly? Then they eliminate someone. And then the guys that are left turn around, or the women, they pull up the midriff and they're like, what do you think of the chest? What do you think of the tits? And they will rate the person's tits. And sometimes they're like, oh, your dick is too big. Oh, I don't like, too much chest hair, or I don't like this body type. I mean, I think it's empowering because every time they eliminate somebody, they come out, they meet the woman or the guy that's like eliminating them. They give them a hug and then they go to like confessional and they're like, big mistake. Or, so one guy cried. He thought he was like a match with a woman. That was a little much. I mean, he hadn't even seen her. And then they whittle them down to 3. And then the person that's judging them, they have to get naked. And so then it's like they have to like look at each other, rate each other, and then, she picks one. I believe there's 6 seasons of this, which kind of makes sense. I mean, I'm losing a little bit of interest because it's the same thing like over and over. So I'm just sort of like, how are they going to keep this spicy? But I'm only a couple of episodes in, so maybe they do other things to mix it up. And I'd be curious how many of these couples are still together now, because they go out on a date with their clothes on. And the whole idea is if you see somebody nude at first. Oh. Also, I got like my tooth replaced, so it's kind of sensitive. The idea is if you've already taken away the awkwardness of seeing somebody naked, you can really enjoy the date because you're not anticipating like, are we going to go back to their place? Are they coming back to mine? What does his dick look like? Like you've already seen it. I love the concept. I mean, I love it. I find this to be like a little boring after a while, but the amount of dicks and vaginas, and the more you see it, the less kind of like salacious it gets. You're like, oh yeah, wheel them in. Let's see the vag. What you got? Full hair, no hair? Come on. So good. It's so good. Those are the best shows, I think. There's a lot of good TV out, I think, right now. Sister Wives, huge ratings. Sister Wives, Naked Attraction, Golden Bachelor, some good true crime things out too. You know how there's one about who murdered a BBC reporter. I like a little bit of mystery like that. So anyway, a lot of good television out. Tomorrow on the Sarah Fraser Show, I have a lot of scoop. Pictures of Ethan Plath have surfaced. If you didn't see those on my TikTok, they're up. I'll talk about, what the latest is. That really sparked a lot of fury. Is Ethan Plath moved on? Looks like Ethan and Olivia are separated. There's other Sister Wives news. Janelle, talking about the future with Cody. Is she going to go back? 90 Day Fiancé season 10 airs October 8th, this coming Sunday. What people are saying about that. We have a lot to get into. That's tomorrow on the Sarah Fraser Show. Please subscribe. Be subscribing. Love you guys. Bye, everybody.